Family, watch this word. Moses spent the first 40 years of his life living in Pharaoh's palace. He had influence, education, and status, and every opportunity that Egypt could offer. And then one day he saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew. And we see in the text that Moses stepped in and he killed the Egyptian. See, he tried to accomplish in his own strength what God had not yet called him to do. And when it was discovered that he had killed an Egyptian, he fled into the wilderness. Then came another 40 years. 40 years of obscurity. 40 years of tending sheep. 40 years where scripture records no miracles, no Red Sea, no plagues, and no public ministry. Why? Well, because before God would use Moses to lead a nation, he had to teach him how to depend on him, and only him. See, Moses spent 40 years thinking he was somebody. Then he spent 40 years learning that he was a nobody. And then another 40 years learning what God could do with somebody who knows they're a nobody. See, the world tells you to believe in yourself, but scripture calls you to trust in God. See, when God finally appeared to Moses in the burning bush, Moses was no longer the confident prince of Egypt. See, he was the shepherd who asked, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh?" And look at God's response in the text. He didn't build up Moses' confidence in himself, but God pointed Moses to his presence. He said, "Certainly I will be with you." See, the answer was never Moses' ability. The answer was always God. And some of you feel forgotten because you're in a wilderness season. But just because God is silent doesn't mean that he's absent. It's like a teacher when you were taking a test in school. The teacher would be quiet, but you could see the teacher right across from your desk. They were there watching. Though you couldn't hear them speak, they were with you. It's the same when you're in the wilderness. See, the wilderness was not wasting Moses. God was breaking his dependence on himself. If you only depend on yourself, you will never reach your full potential. Because you and I were limited. There are things that we just cannot do. But with God, nothing is impossible. And he can perform works in you and I that we could never do on our own. And that points us to Christ, because salvation is not what we can do for God. It is found in what Jesus Christ has already done for us. So do not despise God's preparation. Sometimes the greatest thing God can remove in a person is their confidence in themselves, so your confidence can be fully placed in him, the one who never fails. The Lord knows what he's doing. Continue to move in faith.